You asked, we answered. No, I didn't say you asked. I said you asked. Psychos and sickos unite for a Mailbag Monday. Scratch that. Mailbag Thursday edition. Almost nailed that one, but I didn't. But guess what? It's basically Friday. It's the day before 4th of July, and we're coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Download the Inner Circle app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. It's all of us here. It's Erik, Gerald, Stephen, the Freckled Mamba, a.k.a. Juice Man, a.k.a. Arrington, and a.k.a. his intro gets longer every single damn show. Behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen, but of course, none of the magic happens without all of you in chat. We got Suns Digest, Russell, Ashley, Leo, JDQ, Lucas, Robert Mines, so many of our friends in here on basically a Friday, more like a Thursday, also kind of a Monday, because we're answering all of your mailbag questions. It's been a little bit, but we are excited to get into it. We'll be talking about Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, LeBron James, and at the very end, we'll get into some fun questions as well that have nothing to do with basketball, and some that are absolutely insane that do have something to do with basketball. But first, remind you, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a diehard today. 2 days left to become a diehard at $36 for the year. That involves a free hat or a free shirt when you sign up, access to the diehard Discord, exclusive content that we give you behind the scenes, and of course, access to Gerald's writing, 20% discount to all of our events. It's more than worth it at the $80 intro offer for the annual pass, but guess what? We marked it down so much for you. But before everybody gets there, I want to give a little heads up. We are very, very much attuned to making sure our content here is top tier, and Steven is super in on making sure that these film sessions are more than flushed out. So we are going to push the Rasheer Fleming film session to coming out early next week to make sure it's nice and juicy for you. We still have you covered this weekend. We'll have a trending mini pod out tomorrow, have an exclusive interview with a Kentucky guy about Kobe Brea, and some stuff for diehards. So don't worry, got a lot coming for you over the weekend. But before we get to a 3-day weekend, how we doing?
We're hanging in there.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're very excited for this weekend to be here.
Yeah.
And
Gerald has been an absolute trooper.
I'm doing absolutely nothing this weekend.
Yes. Good. Except for taking care of a child, which is kind of a lot.
So a lot.
Yeah. Steven, looking forward to the little 3-day weekend here?
Yeah, definitely. Little mental let back, step back. Probably the first time in quite some time.
8-9 years?
Yeah, probably 8 or 9 years, honestly, if I'm being real. But yeah, looking forward to the holiday strategically coming on a Friday for us. So.
Yeah, this worked out pretty great. But don't worry. We'll still be here for you. We'll always be here for you. And that's why we're doing Mailbag Thursday. So let's not waste any time. We have a ton of questions to get into. We'll get into questions that people submitted. If we have time at the end, we'll get to some from the chat. But if you send a super chat, of course, we'll get to that as well. Brian, don't put that out in the air. Come on, man. It's too bad breaking news is going to happen this weekend.
Bradley Beal trade tomorrow.
Yeah, breaking news. Bradley Beal might get bought out. Not really breaking. Okay, let's get into this first question here by an absolute creep. At Erik Ruby says, longtime fan, first time question asker here. Why is Gerald so gosh darn cute? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen, but Lord knows I will not hang up and listen. Any answers, Gerald?
I have nothing for you. My son's a lot cuter than me, though. So
that is true. But I mean,
Genetics.
He's got to get it. Yeah, he's got to get it somewhere.
Got it from somebody, not from me.
I don't know.
Thank you, Amy.
There was a follow-up comment. I just want you to know this, Steven, that somebody said, I think Steven's actually the cutest. So
that's nice.
I want you to know that somebody said that.
It's a good ego boost going into the weekend.
Yeah, I'm caught off guard. I'm like, wait, what? I'm confused. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Okay. Nobody said I was cute, though, but it's okay. So I'm not going to get too pick me. Okay. Alston, one of our newer diehards who has a couple questions that we'll be going over here today, says, do we think the Suns are going to get more pieces since they're expanding the trade? Obviously, this comes from a report from Fred Katz last night saying the Suns are trying to expand the Kevin Durant trade into a record-setting 7-team trade. But Gerald, it sounds juicy. there's not much to it.
No, I think it's just lumping a bunch of separate trades into one, finding a way to make that math work and potentially cut down on a lot of separate transactions and paperwork that probably comes with all of that. So yeah, I don't think anything is changing in terms of the return from the Kevin Durant trade. A lot of these teams that have made these trades involve draft picks and players that were drafted to specific teams. So it's hard to imagine them changing things up very much. We've seen several reports saying exactly that. If you read the Fred Katz article, it basically said that it's kind of lumping a lot of already agreed upon trades together.
And for anybody that's been listening to us, you also know that the Suns couldn't receive more than what they did, or couldn't send out more than what they did to therefore receive more because of second tax apron restraints. So
right,
even if it was a party, the Suns weren't fully invited to said party. They could come to the front door with Durant, but they couldn't enter because they don't have the facilities for that right now.
Dropped him off at the front door, wished him luck, and had to drive away. Oh, yeah. Mark Stein also confirming multiple reports out there that, yes, indeed, it is just a 7-team trade that involves a bunch of other trades. But, I mean, nonetheless, kind of cool to potentially be part of history. It just doesn't actually bring us back anything else. But thank you for the question, Alston. We'll get to some of yours later. King Ghidorah, great name.
That's cool.
Says, would a trade work where we send Beal to a team where they send 1 to 2 players to a different team and that other team sends draft assets to the team taking Beal and we just get nothing? He is just completely removed from our books and that's all that really happens to us.
So technically speaking, in a trade, every team has to get something, whether, and it could just be a second round pick that's like protected for the first, 25 picks of the second round. So it's probably not going to convey, or it could be like draft rights to some overseas player that's never going to come overseas. It has to be something, but I understand the question is like getting nothing of substance, and that's entirely possible. It is hard to figure out the framework of a 3-team trade where you can, okay, this team wants to get draft capital for taking on Beal. They're going to get it from this team, and this team is willing to give up draft capital for whatever salary is going there. That is the tough part to navigate. So I wouldn't hold my breath on something like that, but it's not impossible. The Suns would just have to get like a heavily protected second or something like that.
And there's only, one team that could absorb Bradley Beal's contract without having to send something out to actually make that work.
Brooklyn.
And that might not even work anymore because they just got Michael Porter Jr.
Right. So I don't even know if that's possible.
Yeah.
There would have to be some salary swaps from those 2 teams to make it all work, which is hard to make that math work.
And the 3 of us have sat down, and I know a lot of you guys have as well, getting into the trade machine and Spot Track, Advancebo, and whatever it is. And you can't complete a trade until you send something to all 3 teams. So like Gerald said, no, legally it can't happen. But it's really, really hard to get the exact matching salaries down and to find a way to do that with the Suns not taking back a significant amount of salary and finding a team that's willing to pay Beal and all of that. And that's why, a buyout is, of course, still on the table. Gerald, you've been saying it for a long time now. Dwayne Rankin put out an article earlier today about the Suns are considering a possible buyout for Bradley Beal. We talked about this a lot yesterday, so we don't have to linger too long. The more I think about it, the more upset I get at the possibility of this becoming a 5-year problem.
Yeah, the good news is, like we've talked about, I think someone pointed it out that we were talking with on Twitter or in the Discord that, like, as much as we talk about Devin Booker, the salary cap is going to continue to go up. So his new contract extension is going to look better and better as the years go along. It's the same with Beal's contract, especially if you can get him to agree to like an $80 million buyout. So it's only $16 million a year. By the time you're in year 3, 4 of that deal, it's not a ton of money. It is still a hamper. It's something that holds you back a little bit and contributes to, if you're trying to duck the luxury tax at some point to avoid being a repeater team, that's an issue. But I don't know. I'm torn between like the long-term effects that are significant. They are something that need to be considered. And the fact that if you just keep him for the next 2 years, you're basically waving goodbye to these next 2 years being a move in the right direction for Booker. And by that point, he'll be 30. So yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one to navigate, honestly.
Yeah, it's a tightrope that you're walking because obviously you want to get from the proverbial cap hell that you've been in because of the apron constraints.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't want to hamper yourself in any capacity with anything pertaining to Devin Booker's future. regarding putting talent around him to get the absolute most out of him at the peak of his powers.
And I think it's so interesting because I also think that a possibility here that we haven't talked about as much, I think the first time we kind of brought it up was yesterday, is not buying out Beal now and not trading him now, but holding on to him and trying to make a decision in the season or next summer for him, right? I think that even if you get rid of Beal, like let's say you buy out Beal for just like now and you're going into this season, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a very long way for the Suns to get to a point where it's like you are actually contending during Devin Booker's prime year here. I think no matter what, this year is going to have to be a soft reset with Beal or without Beal. It's going to get Booker back on track. We need you to get back to your winning ways, be the number one option, be the guy, right? And then let's grow some of these young pieces around you. So when you're 31, 32, 33, they're the ones who then step up like that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meme and are helping take care of you as you enter the later stages of your prime and the end of your NBA career. Teams might be more likely to trade for Bradley Beal with 1 year left, especially as the salary cap goes up. Maybe a team during the season, like LeBron starts the season on the Lakers, and we'll get to him in a second, but then wants to get off the Lakers in the middle of the season, and that's a little bit more palatable for them to go somewhere with Bradley Beal. And if you get into next summer, a buyout would technically be less money per year, wouldn't it? If you buy him out next summer?
If you do next summer, it would be his $57 million player option spread over 3 years. So it'd be $20 million a year, around $20 million a year for 3 years instead of 5. So that is an alternative. It is, like a lot of people have said, just sit him this year because it is a soft reset. Like we've been saying, this team is not expected to be in contention, but next year you're going to want to be in a better position than you are right now. Yeah. So maybe you sit him, you eat his salary for this year, and you hope that after such a negative experience here, he will just opt out and go somewhere else in free agency. I don't know if that's realistic. I don't know if he's going to make up $57 million even if he gets a 3-year contract. I don't know if that's coming his way, especially if he doesn't play a lot this season. So you might have to buy him out and stretch and waive next summer instead of this. But there's a lot of alternatives. There's a lot of different paths that could go down. All of them have pros and all of them have very serious cons.
Are you all concerned in any capacity about the optics of sending him home?
Yes. Absolutely. Because we did this with Jay Crowder, and Jay Crowder was not a player of Beal's standing. Obviously, he was a key piece of a team that went to the finals, and it was a really bad look. But doing that with Beal, that takes it to a different level, especially since you've done it recently with another guy too.
And this might be a stupid question. Is it much worse than just burying him on the bench and not playing that guy a lot, right? Because here's the thing. Let's say the path that we end up down here is that Bradley Beal is playing basketball for the Phoenix Suns this year. So he's on the roster, full money, everything, and he's not being sent home. He's in the rotation. He sure as hell is not starting, right? It's Jalen Green and it's Devin Booker. I don't think he's the sixth man coming off the bench. I think they're going to give that to Colin Gillespie. I think they're going to let him rock out, right? There's going to be a lot of rookies off the bench too. So if you bury him and play him 15 minutes a game, 15, 20 minutes a game, right? And pay him that contract and his stats take a dive. Like, what does that look visually as well? Is there also, you say the pros and cons, just to be fair here, is there a chance that you go to Bradley Beal and you say, look, dude, like you're stuck with us. We're stuck with you. We don't have the same expectations as we did last year. Man our second unit, buy into it, up your stats, up your efficiency. And if you want to go to a contending team, that will make it more likely. If you want to continue to make money in the future, that'll make it more likely. And if you really like it here, if you go out and ball and are a good veteran presence for our guys and contribute, we're less likely to buy you out and spread that out. And you can at least get another year here with your family. Like, I don't know if that's the likely scenario, Gerald, but to his credit, when he was benched, he did, for at least a little bit of time, still put in that same amount of effort and play well.
Yeah, he did. I also would point to the example that we heard about Mike Budenholzer asking him to be Drew Holiday and the way that he handled that conversation as kind of a counter to that. And, just the general amount of games that he misses, it's tough to swallow. I think his pride was definitely hurt when he was sent to the bench. And so I think what he was able to produce was more of an FU than anything else. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a good answer here. I think you have to be very careful if you're the Suns about how you approach this with him, how you communicate what you're going to do moving forward with him. And it's all going to come down to how he responds to that and what, because like I don't think a trade's happening. I think it's either going to be a buyout or you kind of, bring him off the bench to try and keep his trade value alive, but that's not really going to do much for his trade value. So
yeah.
It's a complicated situation. It's definitely not, black and white. We'll continue to talk about that. We have another question about Beal, questions about CP3, and then, of course, deeper on the Suns. We're talking CJ Huntley, Kaman Malawach, Mark Williams, draft picks, so much more, plus some fun questions. We'll get to all of that right after our first break. Love telling you about my friends over at Pure Edibles. Whether you're just trying to relax, whether you need to get some sleep, whether you need to be uplifted, Pure Edibles knows exactly what you need, and they clearly list it on the tin. The worst part about edibles is when you take one and you don't know how you're going to feel, right? You don't know what the dosage is. You don't know what the impact is. Yeah, indica, sativa, that's great, but these things have different impacts on your body. That's why Pure Effects are clearly listed on each tin so you know exactly what to expect. They blend unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, and of course, THC to do anything from uplifting effects to sleep effects to relaxing to balance. They've got just a little bit of everything. They're designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable and easy to dial in your exact dose. The last thing that you want to do if you're starting edibles is to start too high and have a bad experience, because that's just going to ruin it all. Start low, even if you don't feel anything. That's okay. Start low, work your way up. Pure Edibles makes it easy. Plus, they make it easy as well with the fact that they just don't taste like crap. And that is a very big selling point, because a lot of other ones taste like crap. Not Pure Edibles. Go find yourselves some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona and support local like we support local here. And if you're living locally, you know that, my Lord, it's hot outside. It did rain last night. It got a little bit nicer, but don't get it twisted. It'll be 120 in a matter of no time. And your APS rate plan wants to work with you to make sure that you are not spending the most money cooling and heating your home, since nearly half of your energy costs come from doing that thing. Listen, did you know that every 1 degree you raise your thermostat, you could save up to 2 to 3% on your cooling costs? But you have to remember to adjust your thermostat. That's where a smart thermostat comes in, and it can be hard when you're busy or not at home. And APS customers can get a smart thermostat over at marketplace.aps.com, and you can find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy-efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. And right now, you might be eligible, if you're an APS customer, for smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards, plus free installs available at marketplace.aps.com. You must be an APS customer, pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. We got Pork Foot Music in the chat.
that's dope.
Great. I love when a nice new great name. It's like when a Smash character you unlock them.
Right.
It's like
Challenger approaching. Pork Foot Music.
Pork Foot Music. Sean Anonymous, Level Outlook B, some guy named Justin, Elko, Plume, Dagoon, Animal TV, David, Stephen, you're in the chat, Robert, C. Watts, bunch of our friends in here hanging out for a Mailbag Thursday edition. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Become a diehard today for just $36. Plus, for those who don't know, we're doing another pickleball tournament at the end of the month, July 36th at 36.
July 36th.
It's been a long, short week,
Come
folks.
show up.
July 26th at Chicken
go.
and Pickle out in Glendale. Sign up, go phnx.com/events. All proceeds go to Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. Come beat some of the PHNX staff in pickleball, if you can even do it. All right. Russell, another diehard here, says, should the Suns trade Beal and Richards to LA for Bron and Bronny in 2 separate deals? And if so, do you think Bradley Beal would waive his no trade clause to go to LA?
I'll take the last part first. I think so. I feel like LA is a city that would make sense. I think Beal loves the weather here. LA has great weather. The problem here is Bronny for Nick Richards does not work straight up in a separate deal. There's not enough salary there. So the Lakers would have to throw something else in there while still staying beneath the $5 million contract. I haven't looked at their salary cap sheet, but there might be one player that works. I don't think it's Dalton Connect anymore.
No, it's not Connect. It's a guard. It's Shake Milton. I'm pretty sure.
So I think it have to be Shake Milton and Bronny. So I don't know. That could work. I don't think it happens again, like we talked about. What was that yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bron talks happening every day at this point, folks. Stephen, you feel like LA is a reasonable destination?
Generally speaking, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't want to go to LA? I imagine Bradley Beal would be fine with going to the Lakers, especially with Luka being there, even if it is in the swap for LeBron. Boy, would that come with some pressure if he getting traded for LeBron James.
Yeah.
But I think that's a situation that would better suit Bradley Beal right now too, considering who he's playing with, the role, the opportunity. It feels like that would be a better situation for him.
And this would only happen if LeBron forces his way to Phoenix, right? Because even if you're trading LeBron James, you could find better deals than Bradley Beal in a separate deal for Nick Richards to give up LeBron, Bronny, and Shake.
Does he start?
Braun?
No.
Yeah, kind of, probably.
No, I'm talking about Bradley Beal because they got
Reeves?
Austin Reeves over there right now.
Well,
I don't think he does.
No. Probably not. He's the sixth man in LA.
Austin Reeves was almost an all-star last year.
They love him there.
Bradley Beal, DeAndre Ayton, pick and pop, man. That's what dreams are made of.
Yeah. So to that point, maybe the role is not as clear as I thought it would have been.
Marwin with a $5 super chat. Thanks, Marwin. Anybody who has questions in the chat, we'll try to get to those at the end if we have time. Probably won't because we have a lot, but if you want a super chat, we will. Marwin with $5 super chat and says, we can't just buy out and not stretch, so only a 2-year hit, not 5.
You can, but it doesn't save you any money on your cap sheet. So at that point, if you're going to be paying him the money, you might as well get something out of him, whether it's on the court.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, that's the same as basically just sending him home for 2 years.
Right. So might as well just have him play and try to reestablish his trade value if you can.
My new favorite name in chat, Porkfoot Music, says CP3 is the answer. And that leads to our next question from Isaiah. Isaiah says, what are the odds on the Suns still possibly signing Chris Paul? Obviously, Stephen, the signing for him hasn't happened yet. It's been between the Clippers and the Suns. The Suns, if they put Kobe Brea on a two-way spot, they still have a roster spot available. Obviously, we're not reporting here. What would you say in your mind the odds that Chris Paul is a Phoenix Sun again?
Well, he's only considering 2 teams at the moment, right?
Sure. But would you give it a 50-50 split? Would you?
Dan's going to say 50%.
Dude, sometimes, man.
No,
I'm so reasonable.
I would give the
50-50 split.
I would give the Clippers an edge over the Suns because Chris's family is still in Los Angeles. He's been away from them in multiple respects for since he left the Clippers, to be honest. Going to Oklahoma City, going to Houston, coming here. That's a lot of time away from the fam. And it sounded like with every opportunity, he's wanted to be as close to them as possible, as long as the situation made sense. But then we also get the news that it sounds like he still wants to start. So that's where maybe 60-40 turns into 55-45 now. And I think it still might be leaning towards the Clippers just because of proximity more than anything. But as far as role, I think the Suns have more of one to offer him than the Clippers do.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's probably 55-45 Clippers right now. And this is not based on sourced information whatsoever. I do think if Chris had his pick, it would be Phoenix. But I don't know that the Suns want to bring him back. I think, based on what we've heard, it sounds like they're very high on Colin Gillespie, which to me, like, I love Colin Gillespie. I want to see him play next year. I don't think having Colin Gillespie should prevent you from signing Chris Paul if you think he can help. That's the question, is whether they think that he can help.
I love Colin Gillespie. It's great. Chris Paul is such a different point guard than Colin Gillespie, and I think that since he is the only point guard on your roster, it's somewhat insane to say, hey, we're good. It's like the Colin Cowherd meme. No, LeBron, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was a good Cowherd impression.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I think that if it's the Suns saying no, I don't get it. I personally don't get it. I think it's, if Chris Paul wants to come here and you have the open roster spot, and I think you do, I'm fine with putting Brea on a two-way. I'd like to see him run in the bigs at some point, but I think for him to develop and for him to work on some of his weaknesses, the G League is perfect for him, and I think he would light it up there. The only team that's kind of been rumored for Chris Paul to start is the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah. Because they need a point. Like Kevin Porter Jr., gross, is their starting point guard right now. Gross in more ways than one. Yeah. Shouldn't have a contract, let alone be starting in this league. So for me, like Aiden says in the chat, it's Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul, for all the reasons that we talked about on all of our free agent shows, would be a home run signing. If it was up to me and he wanted to be here, he'd be here. But there are a lot more factors than that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%. Having Colin Gillespie shouldn't stop you from adding Chris Paul.
What a sentence, though. I mean, listen. Hey, listen. I mean, if anything, that's a big like testament of faith in Colin Gillespie. If that is the reason, and you're going to him and you're saying, hey, man, like we passed up on bringing in Chris Paul for you, right? Last year we brought in Monte Morris and Tyus Jones. This year we are clearing the way. You are the point guard on this team. You will be the starter if one of our backcourt in Jalen Green and Devin Booker gets injured. And hell, depending on how Jalen Green plays, you might just be starting anyway.
Yeah. And I know for a fact Colin Gillespie has respect and admiration for Chris Paul and what he could do as a potential mentor here. So
Exactly.
They're both short, but they could play together. I think those two would be fun.
They're fine now.
they're good.
Yeah, Harden and CP3. I think the Clippers are also a scary spot for him. I think him and Zoo and him and Lopez and pick and rolls and pick and pops over and over again would be pretty nasty.
Lopez behind him.
Yeah.
On defense.
Alston says, yo, did we do mailbag yet? I just got home. Alston, we hit one of your questions, but this is perfect timing because we're hitting your next one. Another one from Alston says, by the end of the season, will Malawach and Williams start together?
I don't think so. I think we might see them sporadically,
but not
maybe
like
some
set
lineups.
starters.
Yeah, no, I don't see Malawach coming along that quickly, or one of them developing a shot that makes that lineup kind of feasible in year one at least. I don't see that coming together that quickly.
I would definitely see them in lineups together against the Houston Rockets. I can promise you that.
Yep, maybe the
Whether
Thunder.
They have multiple ways, or the Oklahoma City Thunder. Right, there's a couple other teams that you'll probably against Atlanta as well.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Dallas.
I don't know if I believe in them playing together going forward as far as like being a starting tandem in the front court. I don't know if I see that. I don't know if Malawach's shot is trustworthy enough for that.
That's the hinging point. It's the shot. And if you watch him work out, right, and there's some more videos of him working out, I highly recommend people to do that. Freckled Mamba shared it in the Discord either earlier today or last night. And, it's open gym season, but his shot looks fine. It all hinges on Alston is in the NBA. Yes, the progression of a lot of things for Malawach. I think the defense is going to be a pretty easy transition. If he can relatively consistently hit a three, I'm not talking like 40%, but like mid 30s on a couple attempts a game, which is very, very lofty for him. Let me be clear. I'm not saying he's going to do that. That's the only way that this works. Or if you just don't have any more depth, it might be your only option that you have.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think it's possible that maybe Coach Bud reincarnated comes out of Jordan Ott and against the Minnesota Timberwolves instead of Mason Plumlee and Yusuf Nurkic, it's Malawach and Williams. I don't like that at all. I know. I'm sorry. That was an ugly sentence.
That's terrible.
I'll say too though, to the double big front, it's not just about having two big guys. There has to be a complementary dynamic synergy around between those two.
Right.
If they both aren't traditional playmakers, one of them has to be able to pass in a relevant capacity. Someone has to be able to space in a relevant capacity. Someone has to be able to handle the ball in a relative capacity. You'll never see either one of those two running inverted pick and rolls. You won't see them doing much dribbling, honestly, outside of a dribble handoff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not – I just don't see that in the cards for them in particular. Like even with the Rockets, Steven Adams and Alfred Şengün are both plus passers for the center position. Yeah. That's why theirs works like that.
And I think Williams' playmaking is something that's definitely interesting.
It's better than advertised. But
Jeff in the chat says, we said the same thing about Dunn's shooting, and he's surprised. But you remember, there was a fall off there with Dunn. And in Dunn's position, it was a little bit less intense because you had Devin Booker and Kevin Durant around you. In this scenario, if Malawach and Williams are starting together, that's your 4 and your 5. And we don't even know if, Williams has added a little bit more to his mid-range game as time has gone on, but we don't even know if Malawach can spread the floor outside of the paint at this point. And I think just positionally, there's a little bit more than pressure on Malawach if they're going to go 2 7-footers for him to surprise. But I mean, percentage-wise, I'm pretty sure Malawach was a better shooter than Dunn. He just took less.
It's a fair point. I think Dunn did surprise. We should also bear in mind that Dunn surprising was still only 31% from 3, which is just not effective enough for an NBA wing at the 4 spot. I was encouraged by that because I think we had said if he was like 33, 34%, we would be happy with that. He was just a little bit under, and this was a guy that shot horribly in college. Malawach was 4 for 16, I think, in college. He was 25%. I don't see it coming along. I don't see the Suns striking gold in back-to-back drafts where a guy who's labeled a non-shooter suddenly comes in and is taking 4 or 5 threes a game. But it's a fair point that, these guys can get better at these things. I do think it's just going to take some time. And I think Dunn is a good example of that because in year one, it's nowhere near a complete product. I think he'll continue to get better, but it's going to take time.
I stand by the fact that Ryan Dunn would have shot significantly better percentage from three, like 2 or 3% better. If Bud didn't unceremoniously bench him, because you also think fair. Shooting is a rhythm thing. He started off hot. You don't expect him to shoot like 40% from three. Yeah. Right. But he started off hot, and then his role before he got, and that's the thing is like everybody talks about the benching, but before he got benched, it was you're off the bench, but you're playing starters minutes. You're starting, but you're playing off the bench minutes. And for a guy who's just getting confidence in his jump shot, I think that's interesting. For Ott, I think that the approach to Malawach is going to be, don't be afraid to take threes. You're not going to get your minutes yanked from you if you miss. So I wonder if that helps the development for him and for Dunn. Imagining a lineup where if Dunn can hit threes, if it's Book, Dunn, Fleming, Malawach, Williams, if Malawach and Dunn can hit threes, oh, Lord, watch out. But again, it's very unlikely, Austin, but it is a good question. Let's hit one more question here before a break. Erik with a C, Hughes, which, I like the name. You're so close. Almost there. Says, what's the two-way situation look like going into next season? CJ Huntley got one official today. Congratulations to the Appalachian State former player. Gillespie signed a standard contract. He says then much deserved. And Bridges is playing Summer League for Celtics. Any word on Ty? So, Ty, like we mentioned yesterday, still a restricted free agent. Honestly, would be a little surprised if he's backed based off of how he played when he got the call up to the NBA last season. But that leaves two-way spots. And Gerald, we assume Brea likely one of those if you're going to be going out and getting another free agent.
Yeah, he could be. And I think it's a fluid situation. That's why I think we haven't heard one way or another on Brea yet. I think they're waiting to see who in free agency might be available, figuring out, okay, are we buying out Beal? Are we trading Beal? How many players are involved in either of those transactions? So I think it's still a fluid situation there. But yeah, Brea will probably end up being that second two-way guy. And then you're looking at maybe someone from your summer league team who impresses. Or maybe you just kind of look around the league at other teams in summer league and see if a guy goes unpicked up, unacquired. So yeah, I think they're leaving those open for now. I would be surprised if Ty got the call there, just because I feel like if it was going to happen, we probably would have heard something about it by now.
Yeah, that's about what I would expect too.
Yeah, especially if you're like bringing him back, he's already in the system. Again, that's why it's like I don't mind taking a shot on Jalen Bridges and keeping him around. Yeah. Summer League will be interesting. I don't think they've released a Summer League roster yet because that trade is not official. But
yeah,
they're gonna have to get to that pretty soon because Summer League is at the end of next week. Make sure you keep your eye on for some PHNX Suns coverage of that. But also with the two-way, CJ Huntley is interesting. He fits the build of what the Suns are trying to do with like a lengthy forward, right? So I think that's definitely interesting. Not that I think he's going to be playing in the NBA, but should be a fun watch. All right, let's hit a break here. We'll be back talking draft picks, more basketball questions, and some fun right after our second break. Went on a walk yesterday. It was very nice outside. It was just about to rain. I went on a mile walk with my wife, and we were walking by a Circle K, and she goes, "Boy, am I thirsty. Do you think they have anything good to drink at Circle K?" And I shake my head and I say, "Come on. You think they have anything good at Circle K?" Of course they have something good at Circle K. So we walk in, we got a drink, and then we just walked around the neighborhood. It was so nice outside. And of course, we stopped at Circle K and saved a little money as well. And right now, you can save money by joining the Inner Circle for free. All you have to do is download the Circle K app and get enrolled by putting in your phone number and putting in your email. You can save 25 cents off per gallon when you buy 3 Coca-Cola 20-ounce products. You can get a $1 cookie. You can visit 4 times in a month and get 25 cents off per gallon, a 79-cent Polar Pop, and 99-cent Froster. All of that on top of course, their standard, which is 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents off per gallon every fill-up after that, eventually up to 5 cents off per gallon. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Also, love talking about our friends over at Empire today. Gerald, I won't make you do a 360 today, but I'll never do a 180 on Empire because Empire is always the place that you need to go if you're renovating your flooring because they don't just have, actually, that's a funny joke. They don't just have people who clock in and clock out. They have experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. You've all been to the big box stores, even beyond flooring. They don't care about you, man. They don't care. Empire Today will come to your home, make sure the flooring matches with your furniture, your walls, your design, your layout, the vibe, the theme that you want. Plus, you get inclusive, upfront, clear pricing and installation as soon as the next day. And if that's not good enough, which it is, why not $350 off as well? Schedule your free in-home estimate today because some things are just better off at home. And PHNX listeners can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. That's right, a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply and visit empireday.com/PHNX for full details. Ha ha ha! Erik looks so young. Ha 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 ha! I'll win in the end. I'll win in the end. I'm going to be 50 looking 30. So get your jokes off now, okay? This face, this thing, pristine.
Said, when I'm grown up, I'm going to win.
A man can't take care of his skin. A man can't have youthful exuberance. No. People don't know this. I'm 39. So... Oh man, yeah. Good comment there in the chat, Stephen, saying y'all mind y'all's business. Yeah. John Ringo in the chat says, I don't understand why everyone assumes Kobe Bryant is just a shooter. If you watch Kentucky games, he was much more than that. Wasn't Booker considered just a shooter when he was drafted? Just saying. I'm glad you said that, John, because I have an interview coming out this weekend. 10 minutes for everybody, 10 minutes for diehards exclusively, with somebody who is a big Kentucky fan, big media personality as well. And he was raving about Kobe Bryant, called him the best shooter in Kentucky history. And that includes a lot of big names, plus more about his offensive games, his strengths, his weaknesses. You're going to keep your eye out for that this weekend. We got you covered with our weekend content.
And I'm looking forward to the film session to come on him after Fleming early next week.
It's going to be fun. Lots of makes.
But to your point, yes, he's very much more than just a shooter, and context matters. Some guys are asked to play certain roles on the teams that they're playing for in college. And you get a little freedom, you get a little belief from your coaches to employ you to play a certain way. Things might look very different.
All right. We got a bunch of questions. Let's keep rolling through here. Mario Not Bros 2, that is, says, what draft picks do the Suns have left? Also, is Williams getting extended this summer, or is it a wait and see and how it goes this season approach? So, Gerald, let's start with the picks.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll through these real quick. In terms of the picks that Suns have left, they do have a 2027 first, which is going to be the worst of Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota. They have a 2028 first-round pick swap with Brooklyn/Philly/Washington. That situation is convoluted as hell, so we're just going to need to wait and see as we get closer what that is going to look like, but they are going to get a pick swap from one of those teams, even if their pick goes to one of those three teams. They have a 2029 second-round pick, and they have a 2030 first-round swap with Washington, and if Washington doesn't swap, then Memphis has the right to swap as well. But they will be having a first-round pick in 2027, 2028, and 2030 as it stands right now, and a second in 2029. In terms of what's going out, their 2026 first is either going to Washington as a swap, it's going to Memphis. They have the access to two of the most favorable of three picks between Phoenix, Washington, and Orlando's. And if it doesn't go to Memphis, then Charlotte gets it as the least favorable of those three picks that I just said. Their 26th second-round pick goes to the Wizards. 27 first-round pick goes to the Rockets. 27 second goes to either Philly or Washington. 28 second goes to Indiana or New York. 29 first goes to either Houston or Brooklyn. 2030 second to either Philly or Washington. 2031 first to Utah. And 2031 second to Charlotte.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, next part of the question. The Mark Williams question, Stephen, I think is fascinating.
Mm-hmm. It is, and this is why dominoes have to fall in the order in which you plan and hope they do, because you don't want to be extending players while you're not sure what your books are going to actually look like because you haven't figured out what it is you can and are going to actually do with the Bradley Beal contract. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot more clarity, which I've been kind of emphasizing as a word all offseason. There's more clarity to be had if you're able to figure out that decision out sooner than later.
I think that this is a wait and see. You can't give this guy his extension without watching him play for you and seeing if he can put up a healthy season. I also think that's why you see Malawach and Williams share the floor together, maybe more than some people expect, because you're going to have Malawach on this team for at least the next 4 years. And after that, like, if you're going to extend Mark Williams, it's going to go about that time. So you need to make sure these guys can play together, because you do not draft Malawach 10 to stick him on the bench, and you don't pay Mark Williams whatever Mark Williams might command, because he's very talented, to stick him on the bench. So I think that you need to figure out how those two play together. But if you don't extend him, then you just traded 2 first-round picks, basically second-round picks, for a rental.
I personally, and this is not based on intel or anything, I'd be surprised if they extend him until they see how healthy he can be this season and how good he can be here in Phoenix, because he'll be a restricted free agent next summer. And as we've seen with restricted free agents, especially under this new CBA, they have very little negotiating power right now. It is not a restricted free agents market right now. So even if he balls out and some team comes in with a big offer, the Suns can therefore match it. So I personally would be surprised if it happens. It's not impossible, but I think it might make more sense to just kind of wait and see how he does in his first year there and then extend him accordingly.
Another question from Erik with a C. Hughes says, are the Suns still paying Vogel this upcoming season after he was fired? Does his recent hiring as an assistant coach for the Mavs alleviate any of that, if so?
Don't know for sure, but we do know he was a consultant with the Mavs last year, so he was still getting paid this year. If he's an official assistant coach, I'm not sure. I think some coaches' contracts have it in their clause that if you coach anywhere else, that team is officially off the hook if they fired you. I don't know if that applies to assistant coaches, and I don't know if it applied to Vogel's contract. So the answer is I don't know.
Yeah, it's not my money anyway.
I'll just take that moment to just say congrats to Jared Dudley for his opportunity to be the lead assistant with the Denver Nuggets. Coaches talk, and that's why I feel like Jordan Ott and who he might be able to reach out to fill out his brain trust maybe aligns with something similar to what we saw with Adelman and Jared Dudley.
Perfect transition here. Easy Money Chubbs. This question coming from our diehard Discord. We had all of them submit their questions. We're taking all of them. Says, any reason we haven't heard anything on a coaching staff outside of Damari Carroll? We mentioned that there was one more addition with Brian Randall, Gerald, but they did say that they were going to fill it out over that month, and the month has passed, and they're 2.
Yeah, I'm guessing we get some clarification on that heading into Summer League, probably. I'm sure the Suns have had their hands full over the last few weeks.
With what?
Just some minor stuff like trading an all-time great and the draft and free agency and all that good stuff. So I think maybe that was kind of put on the back burner, or it's something that they're going about quietly.
Wait, who did they trade? Who did they trade? Sorry, I was stupid.
Your words.
I got the Gerald side eye from that one. Usually the side eye comes from the other side.
Your words, not mine. But yeah. So I think I'm sure they're probably making progress on that front, but maybe just haven't announced it yet. So we probably should hear something within the next week or 2.
Maybe Devin Booker's "I'll do it" tweet comes back up again, and he's just on the sideline for Summer League.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm with it. Keep him around the franchise, anything possible. Speaking of, by the way, I mean, you're setting me up beautifully, Stephen. I appreciate that. Lobbing it off the backboard. I might miss every once in a while, but I'll try to dunk it. Easy Money Chubbs again. We're getting 3 Easy Money Chubbs questions in a row. Bang, bang, bang. Says, on a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are we that Devin Booker asks out? If he doesn't sign that extension, is it the first sign? I'll start this one. 1.
Okay.
I'm not worried. Right now, if I can go 0, I would. Now, anything is possible, and I'll have a trending pod about the contract extension and the future along with that coming out at 3 p.m. tomorrow to keep you guys entertained on July 4th. But I'm not a reporter, but I've heard he's very, very happy. All reports are that he's very, very happy. And the Suns have come out and said that we are not letting this guy go. Gerald, are you with me with a 1, or is that just the fan in me talking?
I'll go 2. Because I do think double, twice as high. I'm only going 2 just because I do think there's a possibility in 1 to 2 years, if this goes really badly, if some of these draft picks don't pan out, if you have to sit there with Beal for the whole 2 years and you don't reload properly in 2027, maybe things have changed by then. But as of right now, I don't see that happening. He's going to sign that extension. He's going to continue to be the face of the franchise, the face of sports in Arizona in general. He's going to continue to be loved by the fan base. And I think like we've said this so many times, Book wants to make it happen here. He wants to continue to attract talent here, and he's had a pretty good track record of doing so, even though it hasn't panned out in the way that we want. So I'm going to say 2. I think in a couple of years, ask me the question again, and we'll see where things are at. But as of right now, he had input on the coaching hire. He's going to get a 2-year, $150 million contract extension. And he's getting surrounded with a lot of young defensive-minded players that'll hopefully allow him to play faster. So he's had a lot of input on this.
Yeah, I guess if I'm factoring in that there's a chance and just considering all possibilities that things don't pan out well, and there's a potential that none of the draft picks hit.
Yeah.
What does that do for the team going forward?
Sure.
What does that play into his psyche? I guess I probably got to go 2-ish. I don't think that's likely, but it's definitely possible. So factoring that in, I would agree with 2. I'll settle on 1.5.
There you
Okay,
go.
I like that. Yeah,
1.5
You are
and
Mr.
2.
Fence Rider over here, Stephen. No, 50-50 chance between the Clippers and the Suns because there's 2 teams. 1.5. We'll split it. The moral of the story is
I pressed the button. Y'all are
I got the easiest buttons to press.
Correct.
There's no glass case over my
Correct.
buttons. You can just maybe.
Correct. In fact, they light up on which one to actually press at what time.
It's pretty easy. It's very fun to say that on the low end are a 2 out of 10. So I feel good about it. I mean, listen, anything can happen. I felt the same way with Dame. Obviously, that turned out the way that it was. The NBA is the NBA, and it is what it is. But as of right now, I would be shocked if Devin Booker played for another franchise because he's already gone through worse crap than it feels like he's going to go through. But we'll see. Things change. Times change. And so do we. But guess what? Doesn't matter. We're still doing Mailbag Monday. Hit that like button. Gotta get those likes up. Like goal 150, which is, by the way, for those that are new around here, that's a light like goal. And we're sticking with it.
We're halfway there.
I won't do it. Sorry. I actually did do it. 150 likes. Hit that subscribe button.
You were literally.
If you're on audio,
so hard.
5-star reviews. Again, hit that subscribe button so you know when all of our additional content goes out. We'll have a trending pod out for you tomorrow, an interview out for you on Sunday, something special for the diehards in between that. And next week, sometime early, Stephen will have an in-depth, beautiful film session on Rasheer Fleming, plus exclusives for our diehard. From that, you're going to be able to get all of that right here on this YouTube channel and by becoming a diehard today. So we will keep going with all of your questions and some more fun ones after our final break. Maybe. There we go. Listen, no maybes about it. I love Desert Financial Credit Union. They're in my blood. In my veins, like D'Angelo Russell with the ice, baby, because it's been in my family for literal generations. My grandparents used Desert Financial Credit Union. My parents used Desert Financial Credit Union. And yes, I use Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place I've ever kept my money since my first job in high school 6 months ago. I have been keeping everything with Desert Financial Credit Union. And for more than 84 years, they've been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make life better. But that's just talk, right? You can say that, but what do? They want to give you money. Who gives you money? Nobody does, except for Desert Financial Credit Union. When you open up a free checking account online right now, get $200 in bonuses. That's how they show they're committed to giving back to you by literally giving back to you. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Send that in the Discord, Gerald. That's really funny. What's not funny, but more amazing is the Frosties over at Wendy's. We might not be doing Frosty takes anymore. Word on the street is we're just never wrong, so the segment had to end. But I'm still getting me some Frosties from Wendy's because they have the new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. I, of course, am a strawberry swirl girl. Gerald, you are my brownie batter baddie. And Stephen, you are a good friend of mine. You can get Frosty Fusions, Oreo Brownie, Caramel Crunch, Pop-Tart Strawberry, and not to mention that, yes, you can get that in vanilla, but also in chocolate. You can try them all. Are you a caramel craze fanatic? They got something for you. A Pop-Tart Strawberry freak with sweet strawberry sauce. Delicious. Anyway, whatever flavor you are craving, odds are we've got a Frosty for it. So clock in for sweet treat time anytime, including midnight or later, with Wendy's all-new Frosty flavors. Refresh on a classic? It's gotta be Wendy's. At participating U.S. Wendy's locations, hours may vary. Good question. The chat says, Tosi73 says, is there a PHNX Discord? What's the link? Or is it for paying users only? The Discord is exclusively for diehards, which is a paid yearly subscription that is usually $80 a month. But Toasty, lucky you, it's discounted right now. We have been doing so many of these discounts. I don't know when we're doing another one of these. I don't know. Could be tomorrow. Probably not. Only 2 days left. $36 intro offer. You get a free shirt. You get access to the Die Hard Discord, access to all of Gerald's articles, access to all the exclusive content we're doing. Every single film breakdown that Stephen does, he will have exclusive content for you based off of that. Every single interview that I've been doing recently, I've been doing a couple extra minutes. I've got 10 minutes for diehards over there as well. Plus, you get an ad-free experience to our website, 20% off our events, so much over at our Die Hard. Not $80 a month, sorry, $80 a year. Still would be worth it.
My writing's not that good.
I don't know, Gerald. It's pretty good.
And also, the QR code is
Right
very,
there.
very conveniently located on the screen for you at the bottom.
And by the way, if you are having troubles finding the Die Hard Discord, I know we have some more technologically challenged diehards. Just reach out to me. You can DM me on Twitter. You can find my email on Twitter. Reach out to me. I'll help you get set up in the Discord, and we'll have a good time. It's been popping. All right, let's get back to some more questions. We went from our Discord. Now we're going outside of the Discord, but from our diehard. Alston, another question. Says, what are the chances LeBron catches Bronny and Ayton up late playing 2K and spanks them? I'd say low on the last part. High on the first part. Low on the last part. I won't make you guys answer that. Next question.
Would it be 2K or would it be Call of Duty though? Because isn't Aiden a Duty guy?
Ayton's definitely not playing 2K.
Yeah.
Too much basketball.
Aiden plays 2K.
That's
2K?
right. That's right. He
Okay.
did the 2K tournament. That's right. The only
That
time
part
that
I'll
he
answer.
hustles. Yes, it would definitely be Call of Duty though. It would definitely be Call of Duty first. I don't know. Bronny said he hasn't heard any of the rumors of LeBron. Doesn't pay attention to that stuff. Sure. I'm fascinated by this next question. We're going to start getting off the rails if that question didn't tip our cap on that. Bread Bowl, one of our longtime diehards in the chat, says, oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 Suns players, and you can pull the lever to save Mikal Bridges, Cam Payne, Cam Johnson, Leandro Barbosa, and Lou Amundsen. But if you pull the lever and save those 5, you divert the trolley to the track where Steve Nash is. What do you do?
What a question.
I'm sorry, Steve,
Yeah.
but 5 lives for the price of 1.
Yeah. Listen, you can't be like,
that on my conscience,
but he has 2 MVPs. Yeah.
We're doing a eulogy on Mind the Game.
That's crazy.
Mind the train. Steven, what are you doing? You killing 5 or what?
Is this trolley named Robert Ory?
Oh, boo. We know Nash can take a hit.
We do.
I want to know what Espo's answer to this is.
That's a good question.
I genuinely am curious. You should. I'm genuinely curious.
His door is closed.
You don't want to get sent to voicemail live on the show.
That'd be
Right.
embarrassing. That'd be embarrassing.
I would err on the former than the Nash ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the volume.
Yeah.
It's the volume.
Right. That's a whole
Sorry,
starting
Steve.
The
5.
efficiency.
Hopefully your two
The per
MVPs
36 numbers of the train.
Hopefully his
Trolley
two
over
MVP
replacement
trophies
players.
can kind of break and brace it for him.
Yeah.
MV
Keep
Steve.
them all around, but
Sorry, brother.
Those torp numbers. Trolley
Okay.
over
How
replacement
about
players.
a less diabolical question, but still an interesting one? Another one from Bread Bowl here
Mhm.
says, if you could go back and watch in person, front row, one person from Suns history, with the caveat they would be erased from Suns history, who would it be?
Shaq.
Wait, Espo's in the chat.
Okay.
Espo, did you see the trolley question? If not, call me and we'll run you through it live on air. Okay. He's not gonna call me. Who would you go with, Steven? The erasing from Suns history is an interesting twist.
so you get to watch them in person, but then they're
Front
erased
row.
from history.
And let's just say this is like you get to see their best game as a Sun. So like you're not like, man, I'm going to see this, and, and it's just like, man, they put up a dud and now they're erased. Like you get to see the peak.
Yeah. That's tough. I'll err on, and I was kind of toggling 2 names.
Mhm.
I'll probably go with and I feel like it's gonna be mean to say it, but I'm gonna go with Brazilian blur.
I think that's like good.
Because I feel like it doesn't
balance.
significantly swing the trajectory of everything, but it also fulfills being able to see someone that's exciting to watch play, especially at their best and in that system and in that time.
By the way, Espo says, I step in front of the train and save them all. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Espo does swear by this, that when it comes to basketball, the best thing that he is good at is taking charges. I don't know about getting hit by a trolley, my guy, but I admire the mindset.
No chance. Okay. Interesting here. I love me some Gerald Green and Mirza Teletovic.
I was thinking about GG.
But here's the thing, right? If I got to witness Gerald Green's best game, which I think was actually like against the Thunder on the road when he went crazy, but, you know, erasing those two from Suns history is the least impactful, I guess, maybe than erasing Shaq.
You're trying to erase the only Gerald from Suns history, huh?
Trying to erase two.
That's tough.
Well, we're talking about that trade, Espo?
That's wild.
Younger writer, somebody younger than me, so somebody else can take the brunt of those jokes.
Where that trolley
At their absolute peak, I think it's got to be Gerald Green. Espo's calling me.
Oh, we have an Espo call. Caller.
Hello, boss.
No, you think I wouldn't do it? Don't threaten me with a good time.
That's you have a daughter, man. There's no way you're doing it.
Leadership is about making the sacrifice. I step in front of the trolley and I save.
Okay. All right, Mr. Leader, Mr. GM Spo. What if we're on the track?
Oh, then I let the trolley just run right over me.
Hanging up on you. Bye. Oh God, I always love Espo, man. Okay. I'll do Gerald Green.
Is that the first live literal caller?
I've done it on ASU, but no, I think that's the first one here for Suns. I would do Gerald Green. I feel like for me, like the fact that I get to like watch him go crazy up close and personal, and then like he gets erased from Suns history, which sucks, but like we move. Mirza Teletovic gang, we move. All right.
How many threes has Mirza hit in this game?
Oh, in his best game, probably like 10. Honestly,
I can see it. Him and Gerald.
When he came off the bench for the, I'm not.
Yeah,
you got so excited.
He set the record for threes made off the bench in a single season in NBA history. That brother was a bucket.
He was,
and he had some
great
sick
hair. Great hair.
There you go. All right. Another question from Easy Money Chubb says, "What are the chances Cam and McHale retire as Suns?" Low. Both of them. Like one, I would be shocked if one of them doesn't come back at some point. But both of them to come back and then also retire as Suns.
Yeah. I'd say maybe one of them. Maybe they come like near the end of their career. They come back for just a year, end of the bench role type of thing.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get one or both of them back at some point in their careers, but that would kind of be like the Amari. Well, he signed with the Knicks, but the ceremonial signing with the team for a day type of thing. That would be cool.
For me, it genuinely felt like one of them could potentially return at multiple points in the early part of this offseason.
Yeah.
Naturally, we quickly learned that was not the case. But I think there's a chance one of them might come back to Phoenix at some point. It would naturally be once the second tax apron restraints are uplifted from them. So whenever that is.
Oh, stupid CJ.
I'm glad that we're all.
Where's the CJ trolley?
Okay, hold up. We got to clarify now because there's a CJ on the team now.
Oh yeah, not CJ Huntley.
McCollum.
Yes.
Unless CJ Huntley had something to do with the CBA thing, you're on my list too, buddy. All right, we've got some more fun questions here that we're going to rip through really quickly. But if you are watching on TV, I've got to remind you that the party always continues over at gophnx.com, which of course means that it is time for overtime here on PHNX. Suns, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Like goal is 150. Hit that like button if you would save us from a trolley. Please.
Damn.
I don't want to die.
All the dislikes coming in.
Guys, I'm too... you said it. I'm too young to die. Okay?
Save this child.
All right. I don't like being called child.
For one like a minute. You can save this
You
child,
can save this child
from getting hit by a trolley.
No, I am more likely to die from an asthma attack because I don't stop talking to take a
Steven
breath.
said he's taking his life back.
Taking back my like is crazy. Crazy. Taking back your subscription too.
Wow.
He's pushing me in front of the trolley.
That's tough.
All right, Sons Geek with a triple threat here says, what's your best 3 toppings on a burger? What's the coolest piece of memorabilia you have? And what is your top 3 board games of all time? Do we want to go like all of us answer one question first?
Yeah.
All right, Gerald, top 3 toppings on a burger.
Ketchup, mayo, bacon. I'm assuming
That's
cheese is
3.
already on it.
Yeah, I'm a cheeseburger. Yeah,
I mean green chili too. I mix my mayo and my ketchup, so I'm cheating.
mayo chup.
Tomatoes, mayo, barbecue sauce.
Okay, give me tomato.
Mhm.
Give me bacon.
Mhm.
Give me like In-N-Out style Thousand Island sauce.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Ketchup is good. I like ketchup. I'm a big ketchup guy. I think grilled onions is a fantastic answer. Grilled jalapenos is a fantastic answer. I think
Yeah.
lettuce is always an elite answer. I am not a pickle guy. I hate pickles.
I used to hate pickles, and then I discovered recently, when the Popeyes hot chicken sandwich came out a few
Yeah.
years back, and it was all the thing. I had it, and it had the pickles on it, and I was like, oh wait, maybe I actually like pickles. Now I put them on my burgers.
I
too.
was that way with mayo. I didn't like mayo. Then I was like, I had it. I was like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah.
I can't. I literally got an unbranded sandwich from a fried chicken place yesterday,
Sure.
and I forgot to say no pickles, and I had to take them all off.
Mhm.
Jackson Hayes of the
SpongeBob
Lakers.
style.
Speaking about people who don't deserve to be in the league for a variety of reasons, Jackson Hayes of the Lakers on a 1-year deal. Okay, coolest piece of memorabilia you have, Gerald.
I don't know that I have much memorabilia, to be honest with you. I guess I do. When I went to my first Suns game, the one that I told you about, it was Michael Jordan on the Wizards. He hit the last game winner of his career here in Phoenix. I got a Michael Jordan Wizards jersey and a stuffed gorilla doll because I was a kid.
They were selling Jordan jerseys there?
They were 100%.
The glaze is incredible.
I mean, it's Michael Jordan, bro.
I know, messing around.
I was walking out and there was a Suns fan. I remember this vividly. He was like, "Why are you all so happy? The Suns lost." People were like, "Bro, it's Michael Jordan."
Michael
What do you
Jordan.
want?
Steven, memorabilia.
It's probably a tie for me. I have a Michael Finley Camp shirt that's signed by Dwayne Wade.
Ooh.
Moments before he left to go on a plane to the 03 draft. So that was dope beyond measure. Also, my girlfriend has a Michael Jordan jersey, a Jordan brand jersey.
Nice. Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Right.
It has her
insane.
name on the back of it. And
That's dope.
she let me have it.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Brent in the chats goes, Erik was born 10 years after Jordan, ... bought the Hornets. Again, I'm going to win in the end, y'all. I'm going to look young forever.
When he gets his driver's license, it's over.
It's over. When Gerald has to stop picking me up on the way to work, it's over for all of you. Okay, I got a good amount of memorabilia. I've been lucky to come across some pretty cool stuff in my life. The best piece of non-Suns memorabilia that I have is I have a signed Tim Duncan rookie card that a good friend of mine gave me as a birthday gift. I have a game-worn Jason Kidd warm-up jacket that I wore to the Spinatos watch party. I have also game-worn Jason Kidd shorts with the sunbursts. I have a signed Miles Plumlee basketball that my father bought me at a silent auction that is up on my home studio as well. Very prized possession of mine. And then
One of these things is not like the others.
it's the only signed basketball that I have.
I mean, that's cool.
So I'm trying to think if I have anything else that would be cool. I have my wife, it's not Suns, but my wife for my birthday this year got me a signed Luis Gonzalez hat. The D-backs hat.
That's fire.
So that was really cool.
That's fire.
So I've had some very nice people in my life. Dagoon, that's a crazy comment. Who have helped me out with the memorabilia collecting. Dagoon says, "Let's wrap this up. Erik needs a bath and snack before bed." Why do you think Gerald's so good at raising his child? He's had to deal with one the entire time I've been here.
Doing a great job.
David Booth with the 199 super chat says, "Resign Beal 4-year, $112 million, then pay over 9 years." That's big brain.
You're a
thinking.
sicko, David.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, super. I love memorabilia, man. If I could, I'd have more. Espo might be memorabilia king though, for sure. He's got some really cool stuff.
Might be.
He
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Just the bobbleheads alone.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
He's alone. 101.
Toasty said, if I said Mason Plumlee signed ball. No, that'd be ridiculous.
Miles or nothing.
Hey, Miles Plumlee is like, for me, like one tier below like the Gerald Green, Mirza Teletovic stuff. The reverse. Is Erik old enough to drink alcohol? Come on, yo. How old do you think I am?
You don't want to pull that thread. Top 3 board games. I'd probably go Sequence, Mexican Train, categories.
Did you just make those two up? I've never heard of those before.
Never heard of either of those?
No.
Wow.
Sorry, I must be too young. Categories I've heard.
Categories, Sequence, Mexican Trains. Great.
I'm a big Monopoly guy. I know some people think it's too long. I don't, dude. I get so
hate it.
Get this, loud and competitive when we play Monopoly.
That's crazy.
I like the long board games. I like Risk, and then oh man, there is y'all nerds. If any of y'all know what Rising Sun is, hit my line. Best board game of all time. Nerdiest thing I've ever done in my entire life is I play that like once or twice a year with a group of friends. Anyway.
I don't know how I follow that up, but I'm gonna go chess, checkers, and Clue.
Okay.
Chess is a good one. I was in chess club.
Honestly, just like a good game of checkers every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, but chess clears. Chess clears checkers.
Clue is fun too.
Clue is fun. Life is fun.
Yeah.
Clue is fun.
Yeah, life is fun
Yeah.
too, for sure.
So Monopoly's a low class board game.
It is.
Pat Connaughton loves Monopoly. Damn it!
I hate Monopoly. Brent said people who hate Monopoly lose at Monopoly. I've never finished a game of Monopoly. It takes too long.
Sounds like a skill
it's
issue,
not
Gerald.
fun. It's not fun.
Oh, dude, someone like the custom Monopolies. Yeah, they're fun. Anyway, okay, let's keep it rolling.
Risk is definitely fun.
Risk is fun. Sean says Candyland for Erik.
Give him a little mousetrap. Little mousetrap action.
Shoots and
Candyland.
ladders, anybody?
Shoots and ladders.
Oh, shoots and ladders?
Hungry hippos, so you can just bang them.
Hey, Hungry Hippos does go crazy. Okay. Alston with another one says, if you all could be any height and play any position, what would it be? I would be a 7'3" center. I'm 5'7", by the way. 3 dancing emojis.
I would be a 6'8" wing. I was a wing when I played, and when I played, I was a normal height for my competition level. In the NBA, I have to be 6'8" to be a wing. So
I would like to be a 6'7" point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Not the
Yegor Demon looking ass.
I thought you were gonna go to Ben Simmons, right?
but he wants to be able to shoot and defend.
Yes.
Or even the chat goes, favorite board game? Erik, Fortnite. Oh my God, these are killing me. Let me be, I thought for sure you would say like a 6'2" crafty point guard.
I'm already a short point guard. I don't want to be.
That's fair.
Taller version of that.
If I could be anything.
If I'm like
Right.
if I'm playing basketball, I like to be like a nice like 7-foot stretch big, but I feel like life as a 7-footer would suck.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing in the NBA, like it's fine, but like I don't want to be a 7
You got a duck walking into every door. You can't find clothes that fit you naturally.
Let me be like a
bed.
6'5" bucket. No position. Just a 6'5" bucket. Make me Jordan Clarkson.
Put me anywhere.
Put me anywhere.
I'm sorry. I can't get past the 7-foot idea. His Benjamin Button ass being 7 foot tall with the baby face.
You did not just call me fucking Benjamin Button, bro. Enough.
That's crazy.
That would be funny.
Hey,
That's
I'm pretty
crazy.
sure I'm taller than all of you. I think we're close, but I think I'm taller than you.
Yeah, you are.
Just remember, you look up to me. All right. Stephen V in the Discord says, you've got control of the aux cord for pregame. You have 30 minutes to play DJ for the team. What's your set list? Or easy mode, what are your top 3 or 4 must-play songs? So Coco Melon, Baby Shark.
Bluey. Shout out Bluey.
I think that we would have 3 very, very different playlists.
I think so.
Especially, like you specifically would be very different from us.
Probably. Well, so I did have a hand in our high school playlist. So like,
oh yeah, what was on?
Till I Collapsed by Eminem. That one goes
dude,
hard.
I bet you were a big Eminem fan.
Oh yeah, 100%. Thunderstruck by AC/DC. That's a good one. Probably something to scare the hoes, like Under Oath or The Devil Wears Prada, or like Linkin Park. I think that's what the kids call it.
You can't use that type of language around me, man.
Sorry. And then Nevada by NBA Youngboy. Just rounded out nicely.
This is definitely the most unhinged episode we've ever had.
This is maybe the best
By
episode.
far.
Bro, dude, we barely lost any viewers, dog. Like, this is awesome. Somebody said, yeah, scare them.
Wow.
Oh, Stephen, are you scaring the host?
Some Lincoln Park.
Wow. You really got me with that one.
In the end, it doesn't really matter
Wow.
if you hit your free throws.
I think it took a minute for that to register for Stephen.
I couldn't believe who it came from. If it was coming from Erik, like, you don't usually expect anything from Erik, so it is what it is. But
Wait,
not even that way. No, I'm saying you can't predict. You're not predictable.
What the hell do you mean
You're
you don't
not
expect anything from
predictable.
Erik?
You're not predictable. That coming from Gerald felt like he was captured by the spirit of Erik when he said.
This is what happens when you deprive me of sleep for too long.
Yeah, for sure. I just went artists. I threw out like 5 or 6 artist names. So,
Okay.
J. Cole, Nas, Nipsey, Jay-Z, Kendrick, of course, and one more name. Let's go with Meek Mill because Meek gets the beat, gets the up tempo going for you. So I'll go with those 5 or 6 names.
Okay. My music taste is all over
He opened
the
his
place.
Spotify. So
I've
it's
opened the
serious.
Spotify.
There are some parental blocks on some of these songs, but
I mean, not if you're doing it now, like Not Like Us has to be on there.
Yeah.
Right. Like Not Like Us has to be on there.
yeah.
There's a song that's name is skipping my mind right now, and it's really making me mad because it's like one of my favorite songs, and for some reason I just can't remember it.
While Erik is figuring it out, shout out to Jid too.
Yeah,
Jid would
for
definitely
sure.
be on my list as well.
For sure. Johnny P's Caddy for me. I love that song. I like when I get hyped up when I would like do sporting events. I wouldn't do like the you know, like I would be like the nice like confident like kind of chill, which is ironic for me. Blues Clues for sure. Definitely Blues Clues. Like A Milli by Lil Wayne, 6 foot 7 foot by Lil Wayne, like the prime Lil Wayne before a basketball game for sure. Espo says Beach Boys, Elvis, and the Monkees. That's scaring the host. All right, next question here from This Ain't Mike says, I got one to all of you, but especially at Gerald Bourget, because I think we're from the same-ish neck of the woods.
Okay.
What's your favorite part of the state outside the valley? I don't think This Ain't Mike is from New Mexico.
No. But I would probably say here, like Sedona's nice.
Yeah, Sedona's awesome.
It's a nice quiet escape. There are lots of beautiful parts of Arizona outside of the valley. Like I went to Tonto National Forest. That's pretty nice too. But I'd probably say Sedona.
Have you been to anywhere else? But
He's new to the
Phoenix
area.
I went up north in February to go on a hike. I'll just say Sedona. I was just under the Sedona area, but just in that general Grand Canyon, the outskirts of it. So yeah, that area is nice. The temperature difference.
Yes,
to see it in one day. It was like 90 here that day. Up there it was like a brisk like 68, 70, and it was overcast.
Sedona,
very different.
Flagstaff's nice.
Prescott is awesome. Definitely not Tucson.
Yeah, not that one. Not that part.
Anonymous says WWE entrances. Has anybody thought about what their WWE entrance song is? I'll tell you what my walk-up song would be for baseball. Magic Stick by 50 Cent and Lil' Kim. I got the magic stick. I won't go any again.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's a great, I use it for slow pitch softball, which I sucked at, by the way. I'm so bad at any ball and bat sport.
That's crazy.
All right. Ogre, aka Jake McFubin, says, I would ask some Suns questions, but y'all do such a great job on the show that I don't have any. No matter. Here's a lighthearted time fill for you guys, even though we're way over time. What's the best chicken wing sauce or rub flavor?
I'm a sucker for honey hot.
Honey hot's good. I like, anything like garlic is good. I like it, but let's not disrespect the classic barbecue. Okay. Good barbecue wings are delicious.
True to my Chicago nature, mouse sauce. But for me, it has to come from Chicago.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is fair. Easy Money Chubbs wrapping up here. Just 2 more left. Says, any books, movies, or TV recommendations?
You came to the right place.
Yeah, I'm just
let me cook. All right. TV, the new season of The Bear is good. I don't care what anybody says. Same thing with the new season of Squid Game. Andor goes really hard, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, and it's sadly very applicable to modern times. Severance was very good, and The Studio is really funny. The one with Seth Rogen and a bunch of like guest stars, that was actually pretty solid. For movies, I still need to see Ballerina, and I still want to see 28 Years Later. I haven't been to the movies in a while because kid, but I did see Sinners. That was the last movie I think I saw in theaters, and that was awesome.
Sinners was fantastic. Stephen, books, movies, TV?
Books. Asking It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Four Agreements as well. I will always, anytime people ask for book recommendations or I know someone that wants that, those are probably the two I go with first. TV shows. Snowfall.
Snowfall's dope.
Power. You see the trend that I'm going towards. You can insert one that is synonymous with those and you will get to where I'm getting at, and I'll kind of keep it short there.
All right.
For TV shows and movies for that matter. Yeah, exactly.
Paw Patrol.
So if you want like more lighthearted, I love Community. Community is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Man, how you start with Community? When you talk about Survivor every chance you get.
I'm getting there.
Hey,
I'm getting there.
Started there.
I got the sticker on it, man. Right
you
here.
should have started there.
Listen,
there's this new show you haven't heard of. It's called Survivor.
Community for me, I've been watching Community for way longer than I watched Survivor. Right. Survivor is amazing. I love Survivor. Just so much fun. Love Survivor. If you are a Survivor fan and you watch during the season and we have a Wednesday night game and you spoil it for me, I'm banning you from this channel.
You shouldn't have given them the ammo.
This is the most. I'm telling people, because when people see the Survivor sticker here, I'm a warning. I will instantly ban you, and I will not unban you, even if you're a diehard. Do not spoil Survivor for me. Community's awesome. I'm watching Suits right now, and if you want to get nerdy, My Hero Academia I really like as well.
I've heard that's good. I haven't watched it yet.
And Tokyo Ghoul. Some of it's like, okay, this is like a little too like for me, but overall the story is really
Are
good.
you an Attack on Titan?
I just started Attack on Titan.
My nieces love both of those two, My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan. They put me on Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan is nuts.
So I'm literally 3 episodes into Attack on Titan. So I just started that with
that's
Megan.
my goat in that arena.
Aiden says, "What the F is Survivor? You uncultured, uncultured. Only the longest running reality show in television history." Okay, celebrating its 50th season next year.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like 4 times as long as you've been here.
Brent says, "On this earth." Yeah, I am actually just slightly older than Survivor, the show. Brent says you don't have to watch Suits after season 5. Trust me, I'm to that point. I'm gonna finish it out, but I agree with you. It's definitely got a little bit of a drop off. Okay, last question here from Alston. Says, I know this is not about the Suns, but should I move from Pennsylvania to Phoenix when I'm an adult, or will the heat be too much? Well, depending on how old you are, it might be 145 degrees by the time you move out here. Somebody had a good response to this and said, come out here and visit once during the summer and once during the winter. But Stephen, I feel like you are the perfect person to speak on this.
Yeah, it just depends on what type of person you are. If you can bear heat and you maybe don't spend as much time outside, it's not unbearable. But if you are very much an outdoors person, you can't go outside after 10 o'clock.
Nope.
And
not for 4 months out of the year.
Unless you drive 3 hours up north.
Right, unless you drive, exactly. So you got to kind of weigh it that way. But it's definitely not bad. Like today is like 98, 99?
Yeah,
after it rained last night,
yeah.
It was very, very comfortable.
You know, a lot of good points in the chat, though. There are a lot of people moving here. We are full. Okay, actually, no. I love when I see a million apartment complexes being built on open
that was
land.
probably the funniest thing I noticed when I got out here. I heard people saying same thing that people were saying about LA the last couple of years.
Hey,
we don't need any more.
Listen, everybody from California is moving here. Why the hell is everybody from Illinois moving out here?
Well, there's a literal context of history for that that makes it make sense. What, you don't want me here? Espo.
Are you telling on me?
Espo.
Who's the child now? At least being mean to me. It's got to be just because of the Cubs play spring training out here. I did meet somebody, or Megan met somebody that said they literally moved out here full time because the Cubs play spring training out here.
It's that and the Snowbirds.
Respect, but the Snowbirds.
Yeah, Snowbirds.
Unless you're a Suns fan and you're on this video. We love you. Woo! Soul Finton with a $4.99 super chat at the buzzer says, don't we really have to reevaluate every relationship on the team because of Bud's toxicity, even Beal? Do they get the benefit of the doubt?
No, but look, if Beal's still on the roster, we've talked about this before. Hopefully there are ways that Ott can lead into his movement more, that Vogel and Bud did not. Bradley Beal was constantly moving his last few years with the Wizards. Jordan Knott talked about movement, player movement, cutting. Those are things that Beal could help with. So if he is here, I would at least be curious to see how he utilizes him. I don't know if I'd go as far as reevaluate everything that we've seen to this point. I think you have to take some things with a grain of salt, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think everybody could look better next year. And that includes Bradley Beal. But Book, Ryan Dunn, Oso Iguodala, Colin Gillespie, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal. I mean, they had somebody who had the brain power of how old y'all think I am coaching.
Right.
It just did not work out. All right. What an episode. I think we put this one up in the rafters, okay, along with the Halloween post-game show where I was wearing a banana suit, okay, which that will be making a comeback this year. Become a diehard today. Only 2 days left to be a diehard for $36. Get in on the conversation. Ask us questions even beyond mailbags. We're always in there. We're always answering. We're always active. Sometimes we'll just jump live in there just to talk with everybody. We'll give you exclusive content on the written side with Gerald, on the video side with Stephen and I. It really is the best place to be a Phoenix Suns fan. Maroon Bros 2 says Monday mailbag as well. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens over the weekend.
Don't know if y'all can handle that. All right, don't know if you're ready. Patrick says, wild episode. Nate says, great show. Well, none of it happens without all of you. So thank you all so much for being here. Hit that like button. We're almost to 150, but we're not there yet. Hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 50K. We're on our march there. And of course, if you're listening on audio, 5-star reviews for listening along with the madness. We'll have you covered this weekend with an interview, with a trending mini pod. We'll be back next week with live shows, summer league coverage, and of course, a film session as well. So don't go anywhere, even though it is the off season. It's the best place to be a Phoenix Suns fan, but it's only because all of you are here with us. So you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns on Twitter and on Instagram to know if we're going live for breaking news or to share other news that's going on in Suns land. You can follow Ayrton, aka Freckled Mamba, aka Juice Man behind the Mac, making all the magic happen at Freckled Mamba. And by the way, that nickname is legit, earned, not given. Man can hoop. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Stephen at Stephen PG3. That's Stephen with a PH because he bounces us out and expects nothing of me. And you can follow little old me, emphasis on little since y'all think I'm 5 years old, at ERIKRUBY as soon as I'm legally old enough to get a social media account. We'll talk to y'all next week.
We all silly like the mayor.